There's history here!
And here.
There's history there.
History is everywhere.
Hi, my name's Emmalisa Whalley, and I am a board member of the Talent Historical Society, and I take a lot of bird pictures, so I offered to do this presentation. So I'm gonna give you a little history about me, and then we'll talk about the birds. And so I was born in Portland, Oregon, and when I was 17, I was the youngest of four. When I was 17, my mom got a job at Ashland Junior High, and so we moved here. And so I ended up graduating from Ashland High School. I stayed around the valley for about 10 or 15 years, and then I moved to Portland again, and I lived up there for 25 years, and then I moved back. So I've just kind of gone back and forth to the borders. That's it, border traveler. And so when about 2001, my dad passed away, and I thought I really wanted to do something with my mom that she was already doing that I could incorporate myself into, and it happened to be bird watching. And so we started bird watching, and we've gone to different countries and states and all over. And about 6 years ago, I picked up the camera and I started taking pictures. And I use a Nikon Coolpix camera. I didn't want to get into a camera that I had to have separate lenses and have to, haul all this equipment. This has a 60 times zoom on it, and they're pretty reasonable, about $400. And then I use the tripod too for when I take my pictures. What else do I say? So when I moved to Talent, I started finding birding friends and going all over. And I found 3 places mainly in Talent that I bird. And so I'm going to take you through those. Most of the pictures I have are from my backyard. I have had, if you look on the list, I have, I think, over 52 birds in my backyard that I've had. And I do count the flying over ones because they don't usually land in my yard, but they do fly over and I recognize them, so I count them. Like the turkey vultures, I'm not going to get any dead animals laying out for them to come into my yard, hopefully. But there's a lot. I get the swifts. About 6 months of the year, but what I really like is watching what birds come into my yard, then I know the seasons are changing, and so when I see the juncos coming, I know we're heading into fall and winter, the golden crown sparrows, the white crowns, those, and then in the spring it turns into somebody else, comes in the yard. But I think it's really cool to watch that. So we're good, and you can ask any questions at any time. I don't mind, just if you want me to stop or go back, I have no problems. So we're going to start. The first place we go to is Stern Cemetery. And do you all know where Stern Cemetery is? Anderson Creek Road. If you go up here, if you go to Wagner, or wrap to Wagner, and then Anderson Creek is up to the right, and it's just about, I'd say, not even a mile up the road. On the left is the Stern Cemetery, and it goes up a hill. And it's where a lot of the people from Talent are buried up there. We have an expert over there that tells us all about it. So Stearns, the nice thing about Stearns is it's kind of the woodland area, so you get a little different birds. I don't have all the birds that are here that are in my yard, but elevation is a big deal. You'll see that. Like I get the American goldfinch, and my mom gets the lesser. I don't get the lesser in my yard, and it's just that difference of the space. So that's a nice view from the cemetery. Am I in your way, Rick? Okay. So these are the Acorn Woodpeckers. They have a granary tree there. The granary tree is where a colony of acorn woodpeckers get together and they store the acorns in a tree for the winter. And there's a really, really good one out of Tuville Park that's really fascinating. This one, we've been watching this for about 4 or 5 years. That's not the tree, but it's the birds. Then they have really expanded. So here he is on the tree and with the acorns in the hole, and they fill up every limb, every bit of the bark. It doesn't hurt the tree at all, and this is what they do. But the funny thing is they pick up peanuts at my mom's house, so I have this vision of a tree full of peanuts instead of acorns. I don't think it'll happen. But so here it is. This is what a granary tree looks like. And this is the one at Stern Cemetery, so they've really come quite far. And the one at Tuville is like every limb, but they'll get there. But yeah, so this is what they do to store the nuts up for them. No, it's not usually a cottonwood. It's like a pine or I think it's a pine tree they usually use, where it's got to be softer bark they can, without hurting it. Pine tree, yeah. Ponderosa pine. They also get cedar waxwings up here, and I love cedar waxwings. You'll have more of those later. This is one of my favorites. Do you see the bird? Here he is, hanging upside down, going for a berry. Hi, Kat. Yeah, I just think it's funny. This is the last life bird I had. It's a ash-throated flycatcher, and it's up at, now my bird friends are all like, when's it there? Because I've seen it the last couple of years. It's at the Stern Cemetery. This is all Stern Cemetery. So it's actually, this was a picture taken when Jan was giving a walk through the cemetery, and I kept hearing this bird. That's where I usually find him, is I hear something different when I'm running towards it, which isn't always good, because I broke my arm this year when I was watching birds up and I tripped over a sprinkler. Yeah, was not good. This is a house finch in with the berries. I'm not sure what this tree is, or is it a madrone that does this, or? Yeah. Yeah. That's, I think, the coloring between the bird and the berries. It's a junco. And this was a real surprise. This is a western bluebird. And I saw the bird up in the tree, and I'm like, what is that? And I took a picture. I'm like, ooh. I've never seen a western bluebird there, but I have proof it was there. Isn't he pretty? You just want to hug him. This is a white-breasted nuthatch, and this is one of their favorite poses, I think. They always stop to look, and then they go back to feed, and then they stop to look like this. So I like catching them in this pose. So there's not a lot of birds. There's, like I said, most of them are in my backyard. So we're going to Lynn Newbury. We're going to get the waterfowl now. So this is what Lynn Newbury looks like. I think this is about the spring, because the trees aren't. And I think the next one is. Yeah, so there's the fall. This is the big pond down there. And so in here we have, there's American coot, there's a mallard, there's American widgeons. There's coots in the back too. The widgeons make this little sound I like. That was not a very good rendition, just so you know. This is, yeah, the Eurasian, I mean the American widgeon. I think he's so pretty with that coloring. This is a black phoebe. You know the little island on Lynn Newbury Park? That's where he hangs out, is on one of the trees there. But I like them. This is a female bufflehead. And there's her partner. There's the male bufflehead. He has, that coloring on him can be green, purple, red. I mean, it changes with the lighting. It's really nice. This is a gadwall. One of my favorite birds. I like the colors of him a lot. It's kind of got the rusty end, the black. He's got a black bottom. And that's the female with him. It was raining that day.
Was that Lynn Newbury Park?
Yeah, these are all in Newbury until we get, yeah. This is a Canada goose on one leg. That's a really nice one. That's a Canada. And then in here you can see they have, this is the only place I know in Southern Oregon that has cackling geese. And cackling geese they look exactly like the Canada, except they're about a third of the size. And you could tell, see this guy's beak, and then see this guy's beak? That's a cackling on the right and a Canada. And here's two cacklings, and you can see their little beaks. But they're about a third of the size. They have, I think there's 10 versions of the Canada goose, depending on where you are. There's a dusky one up in northern Oregon. And
Do they cackle?
yeah, yeah. Cackle? Yeah. I'm not going to make that sound. Where's my phone? I don't know why they call them cackling. Naming birds is always interesting, you know, who comes up with it, but they call them cackling. I don't know. Yeah, I should get my phone, but I'm attached. Like I said, names are funny. My mom remembers the northern harrier being called the marsh hawk, you know, and so there's names that, you know, that are very common that are changed. And I know they call the Oregon junco the dark-eyed junco, but I refuse to. It's the only bird called Oregon, so it's the Oregon junco to me. I'm never going to call it dark-eyed. So this was the year, well, this was about 4 years ago when the river, this was Bear Creek out of Lynn Newberry, it was that high. And these are two female hooded mergansers that are in the river. And they do river, they travel in the river a lot. But they were so cute. Here we have a Eurasian Wigeon, a female mallard, and a really fascinated little ring-billed duck, ringneck duck. Geez, I said it wrong. I do this. If you see it, well, see another picture. It looks like they have a ring around their bill, but they don't count it for that. It's when they killed him and they saw there was a ring around its neck. That's why they call it the ringneck duck. So, but he's going after somebody. He's not happy. The female mallard. This is a northern shoveler. You could tell by the beak. And that's really nice. He's showing you all of his colors, which you don't normally see. You know, they tuck their wings up. This is a northern flicker that was right by the red-shafted flicker. That was right by the pond too. I like these guys. I like flickers. This is a ringneck duck. Where do you see the ring? Right there. But it's a ringneck duck. That's the male. It's a group. They were going off somewhere. I like that shot. It's kind of like, oh, bye-bye. Here we've got coots, and these are coots, and then that's a female ringneck duck. And I remember I was on an Audubon walk once, and somebody asked the leader why the males are so brightly colored, and they said, well, that's so they can get picked off first. And it's like, well, it's true, because they're on the nest, and they need to hide and have those babies, and so sorry for you, Oriole. This is a yellow-rumped warbler. I like to call them butterbutts. This is a butterbutt, and you can see why. I have another shot later with it out of my house, but yeah, he's very cute little bird. And this is a brown creeper. This is on the way out of Lynn Newberry. There's a trees right kind of before the gate, and that's usually where Mom and I find them. And in this picture I got, yeah, John.
You ever see any otters in Lynn Newberry?
No. Do they hang with in the pond or?
Well, they're in the Ashland Pond. Yeah,
but I've never seen them in the. No, they get in the Ashland Pond because that river's right there, so it's easy for them to get over there, but I don't think I've never seen them. Now, the interesting thing about the creeper is the creeper goes up the tree, and then that hatch comes down. So, not that if you see one coming down, you're like, ooh, that might be a nuthatch. The creeper, though, yeah. All right, now we're going to buy a backyard. This is my backyard, and this is, I learned later, a liquid amber tree. And this is where I have most of my feeding stations. I have 3 stations, but this is the main one with sunflower seed, and it's just sunflower seed there. Yeah, just sunflower seed. I tried doing thistle, or what is that? Niger. And it was just the goldfinches that really liked it, and this is pretty universal. Sunflowers is what everybody eats. So, and my cat is a hunter and was not good when I first moved in, and would use this as a kind of catch the birds against the fence. And so I had this idea that maybe if I put a fence up, and so I first got those little fences that kind of go around your bed, and I put another one on top of it, and it prevented him, because in my mind it would take him 2 more seconds to jump over the fence to get to the birds, and it worked, and he's never killed a bird. Since I put this fence up, he's never killed a bird up there. So that's only sunflower seeds. This is an American crow. I really like this picture because it looks artistic. And when I don't get a lot of, I get crows. I have the ravens flying over my house, going up to the hill more than I get the crows. But the other day, I got an immature raven in the cottonwood tree. And you can tell the difference. Look at the beak difference. So see the beak on this guy and see the beak on that one. The raven is much bigger, and I love their sound when they fly over too. That's a really cool one. No, I'm not going to make it. Yeah, I should get my phone. These are American goldfinch in breeding colors. This is what they look like. They are magnificent. Like I said, I only get the American at my house, and my mom and Ashley gets the lesser. Do you get the American too, Mom?
Once in a while.
Yeah, so we kind of swap, but it's really interesting, just in elevation. And we're not that far off in elevation, ironically, but this is what they look like this is the same bird, but this is what they look like. Most of the winter is what they look like. So that you can see little patches, but they're just not that bright. Now, the difference between lesser and American is lessers keep the yellow and black cap not as bright as that one all year round. So that's, if you see one in the wintertime that's got the yellow and the, you know it's a lesser. I don't like lesser though. It's not a really good word. This guy is in between. His head, look at his head, he's kind of going, am I going to be winter or spring? And then I added this one in to show you how many goldfinches I get at my yard. This is probably over 250 I just got a portion of the picture, but.
Is that a certain time of the year?
Fall.
Yeah.
Fall time is when they come around, yeah. In huge numbers, along with the pine siskins will come in too at that time.
Now, is that on sunflower seed? Or is
Yeah.
Okay.
It's shells. They discard, then I clean them up. It's my landlord. I do it.
Tell them how much you feed them.
I feed them a lot. My mom I feed them a lot. I feed them peanuts, sunflowers, and suet is basically what I feed them. The first year I came, this robin decided to make a nest on my front porch light. And robins don't make a nest in the same spot every year. So I was very fortunate. And she had 3 babies, and they all made it. I was really afraid my cat was going to get them. And so I kept visioning. See, I have these, I do have weird visions. I had this vision of a trampoline underneath that the birds could bounce and fly off somewhere else, and the cat couldn't get them, but they flew off before I had to rig anything up. Thank goodness. Whoops. Well, it looks sideways. And this is right before they leave. This one's about to fledge. And if you look at the color, see, it's just starting to get the brown, the rusty kind of color. No marking on the back. I think I have another one with, yeah, this is a hot baby. This is a hot baby, and he's panting, but look at the coloring. He's just moving into the adult colors. This is the adults, and what I really like is you can see the stripes under its chin on this picture, and you don't usually get to underneath birds, so, well, you do, but not that close. Flying over, and I like that one too. I just think I like the way they hop on the ground and the way they scuttle. I like that. These are band-tailed pigeons, and I never knew about them until I moved into my house, and they're not here right now. They do mostly through the spring, fall, and I can get up to 30, and they sit up on the cottonwood tree. But this one I was like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, basically. And this is, yeah, one of them. They have a magnificent purple greenish back that's fluorescent and lights up, and then when another male comes by, boy, they puff it up, and it's really nice. But they're huge. These are big birds. They're big birds, really big birds. So when they take off, I always think, when a mourning dove takes off, that has that kind of sweet sound. When the Eurasian takes off, it has a little desperate. This is like a helicopter. I mean, when it takes off, it's really amazing, especially 30 of them at a time. But they were posing up on top of the tree for me. Black-capped chickadee. I get the black-capped, and my mom gets the chestnut-sided chickadee, black-capped and chestnut at her side too. But they're so cute. And they don't sit still very long. My favorite, cedar waxwings. They're just beautiful. And I have a few. It's with the seeds of the cottonwood tree that, you know, the blending. I love colors that blend in with the birds, and that's a nice one.
That's nice.
It's really rich in the coloring, isn't he? Yeah. That one's in the calendar, just so you know. It's good. These are Eurasian collared doves. Eurasian collared doves are not native to this area. And they've I've lost a lot of mourning doves at my yard because of the Eurasians. So I barely get any mourning doves. When I first moved in, there was a lot, and then not so much.
Why?
They push them out. They're bigger, so they've just kind of pushed them out of there. And the way you can tell Eurasian is that nice little mark on the back. They have a collared neck that comes about 2/3 of the way around its body. This is a Eurasian along with a pine siskin. It looks like it's feeding it, but it's not. But that shows you kind of the separate. Pine siskins are probably about that big. They're really little. Mourning dove. I love the eyelids on the mourning doves. And there's like really blue going through its whole body. That's what I kind of like. And they have pink feet. There's some. And there's spots on the back are all different on each bird. There's not two alike. Yeah, so you can name them, and hopefully.
Do female and males look the same?
Yes, males and females. There's a lot of species that do have males and females. Chickadees, I can't tell the chickadees. Yeah.
Does their look change as they age?
No, not on the doves, not so much. No, they just kind of go between the immature color or the winter colors to, you know, mating colors. So that's really the only ones that, not as they get older, but I thought that was pretty just because the mourning dove's sitting up in that lovely frosted tree. I'm sorry, I had to include it, but this is a European starling. I don't get very many of them, but I really tried to work hard at not having them. They're non-native and they're very destructive. The only thing is they're not seed eaters. So that's one thing, you know, they will eat the suet. And I also have a suet cage that keeps them out, and it's like a round thing, and you put the suet inside and they can't get in far enough to get to it. But they're on the apple tree. Huh? No, they don't like the peanut butter either. Nope. This is Cassin's finch. Last year with our snow, these guys are usually higher elevation birds, and they came right down by my yard, and I got a picture of them. I thought they were house finches until my bird friends saw them, and they said, no. If you look at the one feather, I'm like, what? Just tell me what it is. They're all like, they're looking at the underneath feathers and all that. So these are Cassins, which is pretty low for normally, because we usually see them when we go up on the Green Springs up higher. This is an immature house finch. The males start like this, and I like that, this orangey guy. And then they do this. And this guy, I call him Tequila Sunrise. He's really got all the colors on them. Yeah, he looks like one. This is a purple finch. And you can notice the difference here. Look at his more coloring back here, and his red is really down on his body differently. And I like that bird. There you go. There's the coloring. So you can really see a difference in that. And he's got a little bigger beak too. But the coloring, I mean, like, woo. I get really excited. This is a female purple finch. This is the reason I don't have any fruit on this plum tree. Every year they eat every flower. I never have seen one fruit out of that tree. Not one. They like it. This is a black-headed grosbeak. I have them for about 6 months of the year, and I really like them. That's a beak. That's a grounding beak. Look at that. And his tongue. I like those. And they've got a kind of, oh boy. Well, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, they have tongues. Pushes them.
All birds?
I think so. Yeah.
Chickens?
chickens have tongues. When they cock-a-doodle-doo, it sticks out. Yeah. This is a female black-headed grosbeak, and she's obviously been in berries somewhere because she's got her beak is really, really reddish. But they've really, I like them. They got a lot of coloring for female. This was the second year I came in. It's an evening grosbeak, and this is the male, and he posed for me just like that. But look at his beak is like greenish too, but he's beautiful. Again, this is a bird I usually see up higher elevation in the evening grosbeak. What's that place? The horse farm that we got, Lily Glen? Lily Glen's where I see a lot of these, you know. So again, depending on they fly through and if they see food and they're like, okay. That was in my neighbor's tree. I liked it because he's kind of really hiding in there. And that's a female evening grosbeak.
Who's on the side?
That's female house finch. Cooper's hawk. So of course, since I feed the birds, it's called the circle of life, and I get the raptors. They just started coming back in the yard, probably the last month, but they go south. They fly south too and migrate. But this one just came in my yard the other day. But yeah, there's Coopers, but I get this is a Merlin. I was very excited. Again, I put the picture online, and one of my bird friends said, no, that's a Merlin. I'm like, oh, good. But he's look at that, because you can see the really yellow part of him, but he's probably he's gray on the back, but very streaky. This is a red-tailed hawk. And I was in my office and I looked out my office window and I saw that and about freaked out. I ran downstairs with my camera and I got this shot. But he's looking for the rodents. He doesn't, people always think the red-tailed hawks go for birds, but they only go for rodents, mammals. Yeah. The Cooper's hawk, the sharp-shinned hawk, they go for birds. Kestrel, I think Kestrel does too, yeah. But the red-tail, and this is another red-tail. I think he noticed I was taking pictures of him. He's like, hey, another red tail. They have a lot of different morphs, which means that they have different coloring on them. And Mom and I saw one that's called a Harlan up in Portland area that's just dark. You would never thought it was a red-tailed hawk, but again, someone told us and we believed them. This is a sharp-shinned hawk. I get this bird in a lot. A lot. There it is. This was on my birthday. I came outside and he was on the fence and I got like 10 shots of him. And they said it's an immature. And he had been on the sunflower seed feed eating. And so he was just like, I'm just gonna get some protein one way or the other. So he posed very nice for me. And I like the pink flowers in the back that kind of add to that coloring. And the hummingbirds, and this hummingbird. I have, sometimes they get I call it hummingbird wars, when you stand outside and they go by you, especially when the rufous comes to town.
Do you feed them?
Yeah, I do. I feed them, yeah. I take the feeders in when it's gonna freeze, because otherwise you have to bring them in anyway to unthaw them, so. But I bring my feeders all in every night. That's why people don't want to house sit for me. Because I feed all these animals, these birds, and it's it takes a little while. And I bring them in all night. That way I prevent, the rodents coming around too, is basically what I'm doing.
Is that one in your camel here?
Yes. Thank you, Mom. That was good. Here's another Anna's. I just like this because this is where he normally sits in the butterfly bush, right above the feeder, watching, making sure. I like it because he got a little bit of a coloring on it. This is the females. We don't usually have the females. This is not a winter picture, because the females don't stay around for the winter. Usually it's just the males. The females go south and come back up.
And normally males, do they go south?
No, the males stay.
Only because you feed them?
Well, no,
They normally would stay.
I think they do normally stay, yeah. Just like Canada goose. The Canada goose used to migrate all the time. Now they're like, why bother? You know, they don't. They used to. I remember when you'd see those huge flocks of geese flying, and you don't see it anymore. Oh, that is one tidbit though. If you hear a goose at night, there's one goose that flies at night. It's called the greater white-fronted goose. And in migration, you'll hear it. And it's not totally like a Canada goose cackling, but it's a goose, but you hear it and you're like, oh, so now you know. Greater white-fronted goose. And no, I don't have a picture of it. This is a rufous. And for being such a little bird, that could be, oh my gosh. They keep over a feeder and that's it. Who didn't turn their cell phone off? I know.
It's for you, should I call them?
Yeah, I'm busy. Just leave a message. I like this with the coloring on the branch with the bird is very nice. But it looks like a painting, doesn't it? His color.
What kind is that?
This is a rufous, which, it's like this big little thing, and it's like a small dog syndrome, I think. They just fight, they're like.
It's in the calendar too.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. And here's the front where he's kind of flashing his bib for you, which I think is just amazing colors.
Can you tell if any of these nest in your yard?
The Annas do. In fact, the Annas, the last 3 years, the Annas nest somewhere nearby, which, trying to find that nest is not very easy. It's like a quarter. I mean, it's tiny. She does not have one of those over there. Yeah, it's tiny. It's very hard to see. And it's been males that they bring in, that they've a male offspring, but they bring in their baby and they set him up by my feeder. And he stays there and fattens up, and his parents go off somewhere else. But they brought in 3 of their male babies the last 3 years. And it's so cute because you know how Annas sound. And no, I'm not going to do it. Jeez. Stop asking me. But you know how Annas sound? Well, this was like I kept going, what is that? And it was a third of the sound, the size, the volume. And it was the little baby, and the boy was sitting over there doing this little. It was just like, oh, you're so cute. One thing I saw was fascinating was special on hummingbirds, and they know how to time the nectar out of the plants. They'll know if this plant goes in 20 minutes and this plant goes in 15, then they'll come back in 20 minutes and they know the timing of the plant when the nectar reproduces after they ate it. So they're very smart. I really tried to get some immature pictures for you to see. This is an immature scrub jay. And he's gray. He's got a lot of gray, a little bit of blue, but then he goes into this. So I feed mine peanuts. I have a peanut wreath. I fill it once and that's it, because otherwise that's all I'd be doing, is putting out peanuts all the time. Because they are except they don't like the wind. It's very interesting. When it's too windy at the house, they won't come in and use the wreath. But they're so funny. So here's the peanut wreath, and 3 of them going at it at once.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, they're crazy. And then a lot of times they'll sit up there and they'll just pick one out. Oh, that's not good enough. They drop it. And so there's ones on the ground that are like, they come and let him go. And so, but yeah, they are nuts. And there's only a few stellar jays that will actually get on the wreath. They really stay on the ground, but they don't like the wreath at my house. But yeah, that's the wreath. This is an immature stellar jay. Look how gray he is. Basically, yes, that's in the calendar. Thanks, Mom. And then this one, so they're really good. These guys are really, see the peanuts on the ground, they'll all be gone. This guy's really good at shoving one down its gullet and then picking up another one before it flies off. So it gets a full mouthful before it's gone.
They eat the shells too?
No, you can hear them up in the trees cracking the shells, and yeah.
But they carry it all the way.
Oh yeah, well, they're really funny because the jays, what they'll do is they'll bury, the peanuts, right? Well, I've seen them take leaves and put them over the top of wherever they've buried them, and then somebody will come in and get them. And they said that scientists say that 90% of the seeds they bury get found. Doesn't mean that's them. It means someone else watched them bury it and comes right down after. But 90% of the seeds that they bury get found from them or another bird. But yeah. But what I like at the stellars is that stripey, that they get when they're in their maturity. I got my mom into doing the peanuts too, and I was driving to work one day in Ashland, and as I was going past her house right by Bard's Inn, it's still called Bard's Inn, right? I saw this jay fly with a peanut land on Bard's Inn sign. I'm like, wonder where you came from. It was Mom's yard. This is a new one I got this year. This is an oak titmouse, and it's not a very good picture, but they don't sit still. I could tell you how many birds do not sit still very well, so when I get a picture, I get really excited. I love birds with crest. This is an immature, because he's got just a little bit of a crest there. But he stayed about 2 months. This is an orange warbler. He came in the first year I was in this house, and I made it into the Audubon chat because I had an orange warbler in my yard. But he liked the hummingbird feeder. So that's what he was eating on this hummingbird food. Opportunist, you don't want to. This is an Oregon junco, not a dark-eyed, Oregon. This is what I love, these little birds. They're just so cute. But yeah, I got some lighting. That's a female. She's a little grayer than the male on the head only. That's a really nice one. Very soft. And then the other thing I do is I put peanut butter up for the juncos in the winter on a limb. And they like it. I love the design of their beaks coming in that, eating on that, but they get that. So, and I just put about 3 blobs out on the tree, and they finish it that day. I've seen a couple different birds on there, huh? I've seen the golden crowns sometimes, but mostly it's the juncos that eat it. This is a pine siskin. They're so cute, and they got these little. You could tell the pine siskin is the yellow on the back. They're pretty bland up front, but they get back there. They come about now. This is what I said. I get the goldfinch and the pine siskins. I have golden crowns, white crowns, juncos. Yeah, and then the predators. This is a bird that comes in. He just came in. He just came back into my yard. He's here for 2 months. It's a red-breasted sapsucker, and he loves this tree. He hasn't killed the tree. He loves this tree. They don't kill it. They're just like the acorns. They know the trees to go to get the sap to run. That's not going to hurt it. So.
And they make those holes.
Yeah, those are all. That's its holes right here.
Yeah.
And it's like.
They have a different pattern, don't they?
Yeah, they do have a different pattern.
It's on the pine tree. It's interesting.
Yeah, it loves that pine tree. I know, it loves that pine tree. Not normally, but he comes back to that pine tree every year.
Mine comes on holly.
Yeah, hers is on holly, so I guess they don't care. This is, when I had apples, this again is a tree that doesn't usually give out fruit because the birds eat the flowers. But that's a nice shot of him. He's just, the markings on him is really fascinating. He loved those apples. Red shafted flickers. I love these guys. This is, if you look, there's another picture I'll show you and tell you that, but you can tell that's a young one. See the color difference between that big bright spatch on the spatch, that's a new word, and then how it is here. But if you look here, they have hearts on them. Their little spots are hearts. So cute.
Emma,
Yeah.
why does he go to the neighbor's house?
Oh, and the shingles and the.
No, he's rattling on her tack on a wood stove.
Did that at my mom's house. They're trying to get bugs out. They're doing a vibration for the bugs to come up out of the chimney so they can eat them. But it's irritating. And yeah, my mom, we'd be in the house and all of a sudden you're like, what is it? And it's the bird.
It's great, the cat across the street, she doesn't care for it.
Well, yeah, Mom had one for years that would do that on her metal.
The downspouts too.
Yeah, do the downspouts. So they're trying to get bugs. They've learned bugs go hiding in there and, well, not there, but this is a log suet. This is what I also do. So they have to work for it too a little bit. Well, I usually you can see I do a half of there's a tube and you push it in there and then they can, see this down here, and they have to pick it out. So I make them work a little bit for it. Just a little. They still get a lot. I get a lot of red-winged blackbirds. Someone around me has a pond. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere because I can hear them, but I don't know where the pond is. I'm trying to be like going through the neighbor's backyard. Where's your pond? You have a pond? But this is an immature red-winged blackbird. He's just starting to get his coloring in. And the interesting thing about the red-winged blackbird is they can hide those colors. Like if they see someone coming, they can tuck their wing down, and then it looks like just a blackbird, and you see no coloring on the side. It's another, and then this is a female red-winged blackbird, which is the bird my mom and I, we were in Ohio birding, and we saw this bird, and we're like, what is that? We ran inside to the nature store and drug one of their people out, and he goes, it's a female red-winged blackbird. And we're like, oh, sorry. Sorry about that. You know, you don't know. Some of the females are really marked amazingly, so this one was like, we'd never seen one, so. This is he's here now. He teases me. This is a ruby-crowned kinglet. And this is the best picture I've ever gotten. They don't sit still. Again, they move, they move, they move. Hi, Marty.
Do you have another bird up there?
No, that's just the weeds. But he chatters through my backyard, and I can hear him. And it's like, just come out. But no. So this was the best picture I've ever gotten. I had to pull my shades down because the reflection, he thought it was another bird, and he kept tapping the window, and then his little red head would go up, and so I was like, no, it's just a window. Go somewhere else. This is he's an immature, so he doesn't care, and it's an immature red-shafted flicker too. The mama came in with her baby and showed him about the suet. So this is the other one I have, is a suet on the cottonwood tree, which does not hurt the tree at all. But I was tired of the swinging, and just kind of hang, so I nailed it onto the tree. Sorry, Catherine. This is a fox sparrow. And he just came in my yard this year too. I've had him before, but this is a really good picture with the markings on it. And the only difference you could tell, there is a little heart there, but it's that yellow beak that gives it away as being a fox sparrow. Golden crowned sparrow. I almost said kinglet. That's not true. Golden crowned sparrow. I like these little sparrows. That's like an immature, it's just seed. This is a white-crowned sparrow. Sorry, Russ. I'm right your way, babe. White-crowned sparrow. That's a nice one. And then, yeah, seeds. See? Seeds. This is a hermit thrush. Again, the apples brought in a lot of different birds too. I think they have the longest legs of any bird. It's like these long stilt legs. And she's telling you, isn't they pretty? Mama has a beauty bush in her yard, and they come there every winter and eat off of her beauty bush. So I get to see them, but this is the first time I had one in my yard. So.
They eat apples too.
Yeah, they eat fruit. Yeah, there was a lot of things eaten on that fruit. This is an immature spotted Toe Heath. Look at how he blends in, or she. I don't know what it is yet. I think it's a male. How he blends in with that background. I was so excited. I kept seeing him, and I was so excited I got a picture of him just to show, because then it turns into that.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's
Same bird?
yes, that's an immature. This is a full-grown male.
How do you know?
What? How did I know the other one was a male? Wow. Watch.
Prove it.
Go back.
All right. Go back. You could tell just because he's got some spotting already on the back that's colored. But it's amazing. I know. It's
He's a type of sparrow, right? Is it
Toe Heath. Toe Heath.
But is it a type?
I don't know if Toe Heaths are sparrows. Are they part of that or thrushes? Thrushes, yeah, I think they're more thrushes, yeah. But yeah, that's amazing. Isn't that amazing, that red eye? This is, Oh yeah, they're one of the birds that scratches. So if you get the leaves, the fox sparrows like that, I love that. They do this chicken scratch. I always think of that. This is a female. She's a little grayer, doesn't have quite the red eye, but she's still a pretty bird. And this is one I got this year, which I love the contrast between the color of the yellow and that bird. It's just a pretty bird. And that's another female. She's got a little more red. They sit underneath the suet that's on the cottonwood and pick up the bits that fall. There's a lot of them to do that. This is a California Toe Heath. It's very hard to get a picture of these birds too because it doesn't stop. It starts at one end of my yard and it just moves the whole way through. So I was excited I got a little picture of him. And then one day I got them both. Here's the California and the spotted. You could see their bodies are pretty much alike, right? But then you could see this California's really kind of got that robiny, rusty color underneath it. And then when they're getting ready for mating, they're more rusty up here, but they're pretty much that color. But they posed together for me, so I was happy. Yellow rump warbler or butterbutt. This is the front of him showing you. And there's two types of yellow rumps. One's an Audubon and one's a McGilvery's or, no, that's not right, but something, yeah. It's like, okay. White-breasted nuthatch, giving you the pose. The little beak. They like to suet too on the tree. And here's two. Acorn Woodpecker. Now, the really cool thing about the Acorn Woodpecker is the babies, you could tell if it's a female or male by how far up the red goes. I think the males goes a little farther. I think this is a female, but the babies come out looking pretty much like that, except they have black eyes, pure black eyes. So that's how you can tell the difference. But when they get into their mating colors too, they get really yellow underneath the chin. Oh yeah, they're pretty birds. And then there's two. Now here it could show you, see this one looks, well, yeah, see that one's the white. See how the red came right up to the white and this one's got a little black patch on it. So I don't know what that means. Downy Woodpecker. This is a male Downy Woodpecker. Female Downy Woodpecker. No red on the back of the head. That's how you can tell the difference between the two. She's got some nice spots though. Whoops. Got excited. There's another female. Another male. And this is I think this is good too. This is a female Junco and a female Downy together. See, we can get along. The varied thrush. They came through 1 year, like one day, and I got a couple pictures. That one. Yeah. No, I haven't seen, they usually see them out at Immigrant Lake. I don't usually see them in the yard, so I was really excited they were in my yard. Yeah. That's it. So, that's all of them.